Hey everyone, welcome back. Welcome into Dom Time. President Obama a few weeks back in the State of the Union said we ought to raise the minimum wage to $9 an hour. And New Jersey has this on the ballot with a hot governor's race, so to speak, where people in New Jersey who seem to favor this tremendously will have a chance to say yay or nay. And Joe Olivo is in studio with us. Joe is a member of the National Federation of Independent Business. If I had to guess, Joe, unless people like you and others are out there making a case, people are going to say, let me to the polls. Of course I'm going to vote to raise the minimum wage to $9 an hour. This is America. It's not a third world country.
Yeah, and on the surface, that's our concern. My concern as an employer on the reflexive actions to say, that's great, let's raise the wage. The problem is the implications when doing that is that, first of all, it's not just about raising the minimum wage. It has the effect of increasing the whole wage bracket. Because if I have an employee that's making the minimum wage and they increase their wage level, the person that works next to them that may have more seniority, some more skill, they're going to want a raise and increase due to the market conditions now.
Right.
And it puts my business, especially in New Jersey where it's going to be indexed to inflation, it'll put me at a competitive disadvantage when I'm going against companies in other states because my wage base will be naturally higher, and it will eventually cause us to lose business, be less competitive, and it's going to wind up hurting the same people that they're trying to help.
Hurting in what sense? You're going to fire them?
Well, no, there'll be less jobs, less growth.
Okay.
And yeah, perhaps that in worst case scenario, there'll be employers having to lay off employees because they can't gain that business.
Well, let me take you to the broader issue, what's overarching all this, I think, when we see the debate, and you've even done some national shows. It's income inequality. We see the graphs, which I think may or may not be accurate, but in the minds of the public, we got a lot of fat cats out there. You might be one of them. I might be seen as one of them. And it's seen as there's something wrong here in America. That's what the narrative is, where you have people that are doing very, very well, the so-called 1 or 2%, and the middle class is not. And this is seen as a way to get some of this income inequality to go away.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the misconceptions about small business owners right now. A lot of them are struggling much like their employees. They're struggling to have their business survive. They put their whole life into the business. I know myself in 2008, 2009, I had to put my family's a substantial part of our savings back just to get the business to survive up to this point. And we lost years and years of savings in that regard. So I think that's a common misunderstanding. And this income inequality just serves to divide people, and it really doesn't answer the question as to how are we going to grow the economy so everyone can benefit.
Let's bring in Al in Philadelphia. Al, you're on Dom Time. Welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Giordano, and thank you to Joe. I have a concern as well, and I believe in this economy, trying to raise the minimum wage during this poor economy is actually going to create a detrimental effect. And I know here in the Southbrook region of the city, I've already seen that type of detrimental effect happen, not only the minimum wage, but other city services as well. So my concern is, if we do it now in this poor economy, I think it's going to cause us more trouble than good.
Thank you, Al. Thanks very much. Thanks for joining us. We're looking for people, though. Give us a call if you think, what are you guys, nuts? Are you living in some alternate universe? That's what we hear all the time. Joe, I'll give you the next argument, which is, how in the world would you expect anyone to have a family? You're talking about the working poor. You're keeping people in poverty if you're below, what is it, $7.25 an hour now in New Jersey?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And what I've seen from my experience in talking with other business owners, by far the high percentage of people that earn minimum wage are entry-level workers. And all that, moving that minimum wage up makes it more difficult for those jobs, and it's going to make it more difficult for people to enter the workforce. And I think another thing that people don't keep in mind, for that small percentage of people that are making the minimum wage and they're head of a household, and there is a small percentage, they ignore the fact that there's a whole host of government programs and subsidies already available to them in the form of the Earned Income Tax Credit, Medicaid, SHIP for the...
Yeah, but I would turn it on you and say, we're picking up the slack here because you're not paying your people enough. That's what the problem is, and I have to reach into my wallet. I got to take out for Medicaid and food stamps, and that's a complaint about Walmart, Joe.
Yes, and you know what? As a small business owner, we get to know our employees, and believe me, I'd like to pay my employees. I want them to be able to prosper in their lives and grow. But the reality is, a small business owner deals with the market. I cannot pay everybody the same amount because I wouldn't be in business, and then no one would have a job. And that's the whole thing, is how to grow the economy so everyone can benefit from the bottom up.
All right, we'll continue taking your calls and talking with Joe Olivo. The minimum wage on the ballot, very interesting, in New Jersey. If you're in New Jersey particularly, come November, you vote in the governor's race. How would you vote? Raise the minimum wage to $9 an hour. That's straight ahead on Dom Time.